is not accused of any offense punishable with death or life imprisonment, but this does not prohibit use of force that causes serious harm or injury short of death. Section 50 states that the person arrested shall not be subjected to more restraint than is necessary to prevent his escape. Chapter 9 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, Section 128 allows a senior police officer to disperse an unlawful assembly by force if it does not disperse upon command. The right to peaceful assembly is protected to a certain extent by Article 12 of the Right to Peaceful Assembly and Peaceful Procession Act 2011, as amended by Article 5 of the 2014 Law amending the Right to Peaceful Assembly and Peaceful Procession Law. But there are no changes to the rules governing dispersal. Use of force in custodial settings. The 1968 Manual of Rules for the Superintendence and Management of Jails in Burma, Article 114 provides that no officer shall, on any pretext, strike a prisoner except in self-defense or in defense of another or in the repression of disturbance, and no more force shall then be used than is absolutely necessary. Article 317 sets out detailed rules on the use of weapon. A. Any officer of the prison may use a sword, bayonet, firearm, or any other weapon against any prisoner escaping or attempting to escape, provided that resort shall not be had to the use of any such weapon unless such officer has reasonable ground to believe that he cannot otherwise prevent the escape. Letter B. Any officer of the prison may use a sword, bayonet, firearms, or any other weapon on any prisoner engaged in any combined outbreak or in any attempt to force or break upon the outer gate or enclosure wall of the prison, and may continue to use such weapons so long as such combined outbreak or attempt is being actually prosecuted. Letter C. Any officer of the prison may use a sword, bayonet, firearm, or any other weapon against any prisoner using violence to any officer of the prisoner or other person, provided that such officer has reasonable ground to believe that the officer of the prison or other person is in danger of life or limb, or the other grievous hurt is likely to be caused by him. Letter D. Before using firearms against the prison or the prisoner under the authority conveyed in clause A. The officer of the prison shall give a warning to the prisoner that he is about to fire on him.
The system of policing in Myanmar, or formerly known as Burma, has 4 objectives. The Myanmar Police Force wants to first, community, peace and tranquility. Second, prevalence of law and order. Third, narcotic drug suppression. And last is to carry out community welfare activities. The first objective, community peace and tranquility. The peace process is the Myanmar government's and police force highest stated priority. The police force aiming or wants to strengthening processes, policies, and institutions for sustaining peace and community cohesion. They want to enhance policies, institutions, and collaborative communities at union and subnational levels. They want to strengthen capacities at the union to facilitate an inclusive peace process and enable interim arrangements to deliver peace dividends. to increase capacities and opportunities for women and youth to participate as meaningful agent for sustaining peace at union and subnational levels. Myanmar's also taught leadership to catalyze evidence-informed policy dialogue and solutions-focused pathways for sustaining peace. The second objective is the prevalence of law and order. This objective is the key for them to promote peace and order and reduce the crime. They want their citizens to be responsible, to obey and follow the rules and regulations, the laws of the government. The third objective is the narcotic drug suppression. In the organization of headquarters under the command of the General Staff Department, there is Drug Elimination Division. A police colonel is the head of the division and under his command. International Relations Subdivision and Drug Elimination Subdivision, which were formed with 26 numbers of task forces. Accepting the narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances as not only the menace to the entire Myanmar people but also as the scourge towards the whole of mankind. Myanmar laid down 3 strategies, 3 tactics, and 3 means in striving with added momentum to totally root out the danger within. The Myanmar Police Force enacted rules and laws for the narcotic drug suppression. They are the following: reorganization of the Central Committee, promulgation of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Law and Rules, enactment of Rules of Control of Money Laundering Law, and the enactment of Rules on Control of Chemical Precursors. The last objective of the Myanmar Police Force is to carry out community welfare activities. Through this, the community welfare centers are among the most dynamic social institutions. Through their commitment to locality-based intervention, they keep people at the center of development. In doing so, they provide an institutional link between governments and people. Through this objective, the government and its citizens will have a good relationship to promote peace and order and reduce the crime. The Myanmar Police Force functions are the following: prevention of crime, detection and proceeding of crime, maintenance of public order, public security, and drug enforcement. The vision of the Myanmar Police Force is that together we keep this region safe. The mission of Myanmar Police Force is preventing and combating transnational crime through a greater nexus and creative policing collaboration. The Myanmar Police Force has to ensure rule of law and make people respect law and become law-abiding citizens within the administrative mechanism. Moreover, the police force plays a key role in ensuring the rule of law. Myanmar Police Force needs to be upgraded in all sectors to keep abreast with other world's police forces. The police force has to ensure rule of law and make people respect law and become law-abiding citizens within the administrative mechanism. Moreover, the police force plays a key role in ensuring the rule of law. Myanmar Police Force needs to be upgraded in all sectors to keep abreast with other world's police forces. The police force of Myanmar learned and take examples of legal procedures used by other international police forces, and they have to try to achieve people-centered service and people-centered policing in their country. According to the guidelines of the Myanmar's president, to achieve the Myanmar Police Force objectives, they should have patriotism. They must be efficient in performing responsibilities. For instance, such new units as Marine Police, Aviation Police, Financial Investigation Unit, Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit, Drugs Prevention Unit, Tourism Police, Highway Police, Trafficking police, forest security police, and petroleum land security police have been established. These new police units are already carrying out their duties in their specific field to fully serve the interest of the people.
Organizational structure. The Director General of Myanmar Police Force, holding the rank of Police Major General, is in command of the whole police force. According to the present setup, the Myanmar Police Force has 6 components. They are: first, the headquarters; second, state and divisions police forces; third, special departments; fourth, the training center; fifth, the reserve units; and last, the Police Battalion's Command. The headquarters is headed by the Director General of Police. Under his command, a Deputy Director General is the second most important person in an organization who holds the rank of Police Brigadier General, and second commander takes responsibility for the proper command, control, and monitor all the departments of the Myanmar Police Force. Next, state and divisions police forces. There are 14 state and divisional police forces and 3 additional state police forces commanded by the police colonels. Their jurisdictions are divided according to the civil administration. The states and divisions and additional states have the same status. The state and division police forces consist of 4 components. They are: first, the Office of the Commander of the States and Divisional Police Force; second, Office of the Commander of the District Police Force; third, the Office of the Commander of the Township Police Force; and last, Police Station. The third organizational structures is special departments. There is 4 departments, in which the first 2 departments is headed by the Police Brigadier Generals, and the rest of 2 are by police colonels. They are as follows. First, Criminal Investigations Department. The Criminal Investigations Department, it has been commanded by the Police Brigadier Generals, and its functions are: detections and investigations of serious crimes. Second, assistance in parts to the respective police stations in order to reveal clues, evidences at the crime scene. Third, examine on serious crime and opinion provisions. Second department is a special branch. Director of a special branch is a Police Brigadier General, and its functions are detections and revelations on information with activities of people and political leads which could run the security of states, detections and revelations of movement of religious societies, laborers, and students, detections and revelations of the movement of diplomats from embassies in Yangon and tourists, scrutinize and issue passport to Myanmar citizens who are living abroad. Next department is Railways Police Force. It has been commanded by a police colonels, and its functions are: informations of sabotage and harassments are to be attainable first, foremost, and submit. Arrange for force collecting and selections and rehearsal for the reserve of Myanmar Police Force to be defend and state. Systematic and effective management on preventions of crime, occurrence, and productions of defense. Safeguard and patrol the railway stations. Last department is City Development Police Force. There are Yangon, Mandalay, and Naypyidaw. Yangon and Pido are being by a police colonel. Mandalay is being headed by a police major. Their functions are: perform the functions on security and maintenance of rules and regulations stipulated by the City Development Committee. If there is necessary, perform in all police duties for prevalence of law and order and community peace regarding the command of the Director General of Myanmar Police Force. Next department is Training Center. In Myanmar, there is one Central Training Institute of Myanmar Police Force, or CTIMPF, and 2 police training centers. CTIMPF is headed by 1 Police Brigadier General, and its duties and functions are as follows: implementations of training policies stipulated by the Myanmar Police Force, implementations of Myanmar Police Force goal and accountability, scrutinize and withdraw curriculum and technology progress regarding the timely situation, lay down on managerial arrangements for instructions for the enhancements of capabilities, perform to gain successful training objectives for their kinds, manage and practice officers' moral, discipline, and morale for the betterment in order to serve others' advantage. Central Training Institute of Myanmar Police Force provided police training courses and the number of training days demanded by the Police Brigadier General. These are some of the courses. Police Cadet Officer Course, it takes 52 weeks. Surveillance Officer Course and Investigations Officer Course, it takes 6 weeks. Police Stations Officer Course, it takes 8 weeks. And District Police Commander Course, it takes 12 weeks.
Rank Insignia.
An insignia is a sign or mark distinguishing a group, rank, or function. It can be a symbol of a personal power or that an official group or a governing body. This feature is a symbolic object as a distinctive badge of an organization of the Myanmar Police Force, formerly known as the People's Police Force, worn as a badge or a patch on their uniforms.
Police Major General. It is derived from the older rank of Sergeant Major General. Police Brigadier General. It is the lowest ranking general officer, usually sitting between the ranks of Colonel and Major General. When appointed to a field command, a Brigadier General is typically in command of a brigade. Police Colonel is a senior military officer rank below the general officer ranks. Police Lieutenant. It is a rank of commissioned officer in the armies, most marine forces, and some air forces of the world above a major and below a colonel. Police Major is a military rank of commissioned officer status with corresponding ranks existing in many military forces throughout the world. Police Captain is a military rank in armies, navies, coast guards. Police Lieutenant, the junior most commissioned officer in the armed forces, fire services, police, and other organizations of many nations. Police Sub-Lieutenant is a novel commissioned or subordinate officer ranking below a lieutenant. Police Staff Sergeant is a rank of a non-commissioned officer used in the armed forces of several countries. It is also a police rank in some police services. Police Sergeant is a rank in many uniformed organizations, principally military and policing forces. Police Corporal is a military rank in use in some form by many militaries and by some police forces or other uniformed organizations. Police Lance Corporal is a military rank used by many armed forces worldwide and by some police forces and other uniformed organizations, and is typically the lowest non-commissioned officer. Qualifications and benefits.
It's not easy to join the MPF or the Myanmar Police Force. Of course, you have to face many challenges. The recruits between 18 and 27 must have a good health and completed primary school. And of course, the training of the recruit course is 24 weeks. The members, of course, of the MPF should one call away or on clock around the clock. Some ride their own motorbikes for use in their works. And for those who join the force, they have to earn enough to make a living or support a family, and it can be a challenge for them. Detection and revelation information with activities of people and politically which could ruin the security of the state. It means having an information with a political can be illegal. Next is detection and revelation of movement of religious societies, sagas, lovers, and students. Detection and revelation of the movement of diplomats from embassies in Yangon, tourists, and aliens. Scrutinize and issue passports to Myanmar citizens who are living abroad. It will examine the passports someone who will leave the Myanmar country. Carry out protection and security combining with counterpart agencies, warship, and state heads, state guests visiting Myanmar and chief of other nations. It means there will be a big security if there will be a guest on Myanmar. The protection and the security and the other agencies. Action has been taken upon those societies, people, sagas, and foreigners in accordance with the law, who make destructive impediment in order to obstruct the stability of the state, community, peace, and prevalence of law and order. It means the Myanmar police will take on actions if there are people, sagas, and other foreigners who will not obey the law, and the one that will make destructive in order to obstruct ability of the state. They need to communicate and protect the nations and have a peace and prevalence of law and order.